Good morning everyone. We're going to discuss the chapter 1 and chapter 2 in forensic chemistry and toxicology. First, what is forensic chemistry? Forensic chemistry refers to the branch of chemistry that deals argue that 7 with the application of chemical theory and principle in the solution of legal problem in solution to the administration of justice. This field of study applies science and technology to investigate and establish facts in criminal law or civil courts of law. Ibali, kaning forensic chemistry, nagamitan niya ng science and technology para maibawan kung kinsa daon criminal na nakakommit ng crime. Next. Then, the word forensic derived from the Latin word forensis. So, tibali, ang tagikanan ng forensic na word, gikan sa Latin word na forensic, which means of forum or speaking truth in the public. Mo nang ila istoryahan sa public. Example sa Luneta, ana sila mag-topic ng mga tinuod na mga nahitabo. The forum arguably the historical equivalent of modern day courts is also a place where ancient Roman used to conduct public discussion. Therefore, forensic science is the application of scientific principle to criminal and civil laws, which are enforced by police agency in criminal justice system by Bertino on 2012. Next, history of forensic chemistry. The history of forensic chemistry can be traced back to the use of poison by the ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Romans. Demosthenes, an ancient philosopher widely considered as the father of the modern science. Ibali diri sa history sa una sa forensic chemistry. Mao ang first nagamit ng poison ang Egyptian, Rome, and Greeks. Then was probably the first to study poison. Poisoning was used by the ancient world of method of murder and execution, such as the Socrates was sentenced to death by drinking hemlock, a highly poisonous plant. So, bali, si Socrates amo nang siya sa una ng kuan sentence to death mo nang gipainom siya ng poison kanang poisonous plants kataglawang nila, a highly poisonous plant. The use of arsenic as a very poisonous metallic element was so widespread during this time. By 82 BCE, the ancient Roman civilization creates law against poisoning. Mao to sa namo nang taghimuan ng law against poisoning. Locard exchange principle. Other key figure in the history of forensic science is Edmond Locard on 1877 to 1966, who also made several significant contributions to the new science of fingerprinting. Locard succeeded in setting up the first police laboratory in Lyon, France in 1910. He is best known for the Locard exchange principle, which has been adopted as one of the tenets of forensic science. The principle holds that every contact leaves a trace on that every contact between two objects result in an exchange of trace between them. In the words, it is impossible for criminal to perform an act of violence crime without having some trace of his or her presence. So kibali, kung sa isa ka kriminal na mag-commit ng crime, imposible kasi na may mabilin na ebidensya kuno sa crime scene. Example sa baro, sa kung type na clothes, magpikit or mabilin sa crime scene, pikit sa mga gamit. Naigapoy ko na mabilin na or mga fingerprint, tingana, buhok, nay kuno mga ebidensya kuno gyapon na mabiling na di makita sa mata. Orpela, father of modern forensic toxicology. Matthew Joseph Bonaventure Orpela, 1787 to 1856, a Spaniard who worked at the University of Paris in the early 19th century, is regarded as the father of modern toxicology. He pursued a career in medicine, was appointed professor of medical jurisprudence, and was a professor of chemistry in the School of Medicine, before serving as the dean of faculty at the University of Paris. Orpela established numerous basic principles of modern toxicology and is probably the first person to conduct experiment on the effects of poisons. Isa gyapon siya sa nag-experiment sa poisons. In 1813, he wrote the first book devoted exclusively to toxicology, Treatise Poisons, means treatise on poisons, and he published other book in medical chemistry, Element of Medical Chemistry, on 1830. Exhumed Bodies, Treatise on Legal Exhumation, on 1830, and the Toxic. Sir Francis Galton, fingerprints. The role of fingerprints is the field of forensic science was established with the publication of the first scientific book on fingerprinting in 1892. This landmark work was entitled Fingerprints and was written by Sir Francis Galton on 1822 and to 1911. Using previous study, Galton developed a system where the precise pattern of set of prints could be used to identify its owner. Si Sir Francis Galton nag-study siya about sa fingerprints. Galton she uses a categorization based on three main pattern types: loops, whorl, and arches. The person fingerprint's identity consists of sequence of these patterns. Originally, the system was developed for Galton's study on serial characteristics and heredity and not for crime detection application. However, within decade, law enforcement officers and criminal prosecutors have begun to use Galton's book accurately identify the convict criminal. Si Sir Francis Galton ang first naka-identify ng fingerprint pattern, loops, whorl, and arches. Among gyapon ang gigamit karon sa mga forensic examiner. Important of forensic chemistry. Forensic science deals with application of science to legal matter and crime solving. Chemistry plays an essential role in the interdisciplinary field of forensic science, especially in the crime laboratory, wherein the same principle and laws of chemistry are used to examine bio evidence. By John on 2009. Forensic laboratory in the Philippines. In the Philippines, the practice of forensics began with the passage of Royal Decree number 188 by King Philip during the Spanish rule in the country. Under this decree, forensic physician called medicus titularis were assigned to the Philippine province to perform public sanitary and medico-legal duty. And today, there are several forensic laboratories in the country, including those from 5 districts of office, 2 satellite crime laboratories in Valenzuela City and Marikina City daw. Then, City and Provincial Office of the Philippine National Police or PNP. The University of the Philippine General Hospital UPPGH in Manila. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA in Quezon City, and the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI in Manila and its regional and provincial offices. Muna siya. Then the crime laboratory. Crime laboratory or crime lab in short is a scientific laboratory that uses forensic science for the purpose of examining evidence from criminal cases. It refers to a laboratory where highly trained technical personnel render various related service. The PNP crime laboratories consist of uniform and non-uniform personnel who high level of expertise and the ability to provide scientific investigation services through fieldwork, crime scene operation, forensic laboratory services, as well as criminalistic training and research. The forensic chemistry is a professional chemist who analyze evidence from the crime scene and derives the conclusion based on the test undertaken on such evidence. It is the task of the forensic chemist to identify the characteristic of evidence as part of the overall crime solving process. Given that they handle the evidence collected for the crime scene, they are often summoned to explain in court what was found and how they arrive at their conclusion. They can provide technical explanation that can assist in final judgment as well as analyze the evidence. Sa kabali, ang forensic chemist mo na ang mga professional chemist na mag-analyze ng mga evidence, tapos isasab sila sa mga mo-attend sa court na para explain kung uno daw na ebidensya nakuha or kang kinsa daon silaan mag-explain sa court. Characteristic of forensic chemist. The practice of forensic chemistry in the Philippines, similar to another chemistry practice, is covered by the Republic Act Number 754, also known as the Chemist Law. This was enacted on June 18, 1952. The chemistry law clearly states that a registered chemist is any person who is engaged in a professional practice of chemistry and is duly registered with the Board of Chemistry and the Professional Regulation Commission to undertake a professional practice of chemistry, among other a forensic chemist. Most first is be able to spend our rigorously applying analytical techniques to evidence. Bali dapat taas is the time na nag-study. Then clearly and concisely answer challenge to his. Then last, possess moral integrity. Dapat integrity siya sa trabaho. Function of forensic chemist: conduct qualitative and quantitative examination of dangerous drugs as well as bulay, bulay, bulat, bulalite substance. Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 or RA 9165 and Presidential Decree 1619. Second, conduct examination of the explosive and explosive ingredient. Sibali, dapat mag ibaon sa nila kung mabuto ba ni or kung mabuto ba na ingredients or gamit. Then 3, conduct examination of firearm and paraffin gas to detect the presence of gunpowder nitrates on gunpowder residue or GPR. Kibali, dapat i-examine sa basaang firearm na gigamit, paraffin gas to detect the presence of gunpowder. Kibali ka ng isa sa pulbura, kung ano dyan ang klase ng pulbura. Or conduct gunpowder examination of clothing to verify possible gunshot distance. Kibali, dapat may buon sa kung ano kaladyoon ang pagpusil sa victim sa ng pagpusil ng kriminal. Conduct chemico-toxicological examination of human international organ, gastric content, blood, water, food samples and other substances. Conduct yapon ng blood, water, food samples and other substances. Then conduct examination of fake product in case of unfair trade, imitation. Kaso kubali, dapat kani bilang mga forensic chemist isasab sila sa mga mag-examine ng mga fake products na maswede rin sa ato sa Pilipinas. Then conduct blood alcohol determination, mga alcoholic. Examine urine and other bodily fluids of the presence of dangerous drugs. Ibali, i-examine gyapon ang mga body fluids ng isa ka tawo para maibuan kung kini ba na tawo nagamit ba ng mga dangerous drugs. Nine, conduct research and training related to the cases being examined. Conduct research related to the case being examined. Amo lang dapat mag-conduct ka din ng research para maibawan kung sakto ba gajud na para maibawan ka kung kinsa ka ang nag-commit ng crime. Then deliver lectures on forensic chemist and toxicology in police and military trainings center, investigative unit, school and universities. Last, testify and provide expert opinion in court as well as attend court duty as an expert witness. Dapat mag-testify o mag-provide dapat ng explain ang isa ka forensic chemist sa court. Four stages of practice of forensic chemistry. First, collection and reception of the specimen. At collection refers to the proper collection, handling and packaging of specimen before an analysis can be started. Operation refers to the process of receiving the specimen by entering the specimen condition on the logbook. Dapat first mo dapat collection and reception of specimen sa crime scene. Second, actual examination. The conduct of various examination procedure for different specimens submitted is required by the requesting party. Dapat kanang actual examination dapat amo na dapat kanang dapat na examine dadyon ang ang mga evidence na nakuha sa crime scene. Stage 3 report rap Stage 3 report writing of the result. This step involves the drafting of the positive or negative result presence of a drug. Dapat may buuan kung positive ba siya sa drugs or negative ba siya. Then stage 4 court court appearance. This is the final stage wherein the chemist must explain to the court of finding of the examination conducted on the specimen submitted. So kibali mo rin taglaong kayo na dapat ang isa ka chemist nasa sa court when the time of kanang i-hearing na isa ka ang isa ka kaso para matagan ang final judgment kung guilty or not guilty ang isa ka offender. The forensic chemist as an expert witness in court. A forensic chemist can be called as an expert witness in the court of law by virtue of the following qualification. Education. One of the most licensed and registered chemists, probably with a master of the PhD degree. So ibali dapat ang isa ka chemist dapat eskwela siya ng pagka-chemist o na dapat na iya licensed chemist niya with a master or PhD degree. 2. Training. One must have undergone training and seminar in the field of forensics and must be updated in the training of forensic chemistry procedure in and outside of the country. Dapat nakatraining siya dili ra kun diri ra sa Pilipinas, dapat sa gawas nakatraining siya na isa pagka-chemist. Then experience. One must have hands-on experience involving laboratory procedure and must know how to answer court inquiries about chemistry principle during court presentation. Dapat na iya experience sa paghandle ng mga ingalan sa paglaboratory. Kay isa ra ba siya ka person na mo explain sa judge or did sa court. Golden rule in the practice of forensic chemistry. As with other disciplines, there are several important rules that must be followed, which include the one listed below. Dapat isa ka forensic chemist first dapat go slowly, nahinayra ka magkuha ng evidence kay basig magkimas ra tas mabutang noon nimo identification dito appeal na noon ka sa kaso. Og be thorough, take notes, dapat mag-take notes ka o consult others kung may mga naitabo, kung tana. Use imagination, dapat taas yung pangunahunaan ni and avoid complicated juries. Dili dapat pataka arag juries kung ano manggaling naitabo. What is a physical evidence? Physical evidence refers to any material object introduced in the trial for the purpose of providing a fact in issue based on its demonstrable physical characteristics. This includes all or party of any conceivable object. Physical evidence found at a crime scene Small but measurable amount are called trace evidence. Such evidence include body fluids, DNA, fingerprint, hair and fiber, pen, glass, explosive, ballistics, impressions, question document, and other, and so on. The identification of physical evidence can help determine the truth during the investigation of crime scene. So, ang physical evidence, mao na siya ang mga ebidensya na maguntan, sampol dugo, buhok, firearm, or ini na maguntan ng mga gamit. There are several types of physical evidence that are likely to be found at the scene of the crime and can be analyzed scientifically, including those listed below. DNA. DNA, any tissue of the victim or suspect such as hair, fingerprint, bone, teeth, mo na mga ang sa DNA. Pwede may buwan di akong kangkin sa doon buhok or sa fingernails, bone, mo na pwede sa dali ra sa ma-identify kung kangkin sa doon. Body fluids like saliva, blood, sweat, or uyas, semen, and urine of the victim or suspect. Impression, tool marks, shoe print, fingerprint, bite mark, tire mark, o tire tracks, muna mga example sa mga impressions. Weapons, characteristic of firearm, ammunition, and reduced chemical composition or explosives, etc. Muna mga about sa mga weapons. Question document, printing method or paper in ink used in forged document, handwriting style, counterfeit bill, ransom notes, muna, etc. na nadya ang mga handwritten kung ano dyan ang mga hangkin sa daw na agi. Value of physical evidence. Value of physical evidence, it has already been mentioned in the physical evidence is much more reliable than testimonial evidence. The value of the former over the later enumerated below. Human factor compared with the testimonial evidence, which means physical evidence can quit, die, forget, or get tired. In addition, the source of testimonial evidence may also be listed through losing the communication between original and the court version. Amo nang sa human factor, ang kuang kuno lagi ang testimonial evidence pag-abot sa court, pwede na sa mautro or miskay sayaan ng isa katao, abis kay way saya may mo ni na sayaan or ano manggaling ija balihon. Physical properties, physical evidence cannot change, mo lagi na pares kay na dili kon mautro. Circumstantial variability. If any type of physical evidence is found and subsequently associated with the suspect where he or she had no right to be, then upon proper identification, the evidence may establish proof beyond reasonable doubt, then establish probable cause, the last establish suspect presence at the crime scene. If the physical evidence is found for a period during which suspect may have the legitimate right to be innocent access, then the evidence may have no significant and provide leads to follow in order to establish in case via other sources. This other sources ni. Collection of physical evidence. The crime of the scene of the crime operation or SOCO team must have several main goals in in the mind during the process of collecting evidence from the crime scene. Kibali, ang SOCO gud ang pinaka number one na mag ah, cover ng crime scene. Then, identify the person who committed the crime, service and evidence for analysis, collecting such evidence in a way which they will take stand in the court naman lang ito. So kung may mag collect ng mga evidence, isasab sila na mag-explain sa court. Trace evidence constitute the most common type of physical evidence which an investigator and or crime scene specialist is likely to encounter. Trace evidence refers to microscopic material found at a crime scene such as hair, blood, glass, prints, particles, foot tire, impression, fiber, or pen to name you. Kamo na yung mga trace evidence. Example ng mga trace evidence. Guiding principle in the collection of physical evidence.